from America's heartland, this is GJRB, Clinton, Iowa. The following is a GJRB podcast presentation. Now, GJRB presents The Last 7 Days. In this time of lawlessness and utter chaos, there's a program that puts it all into perspective. This is the program where men and women gather to discuss current events and how it lines up with Bible prophecy. And now, The Last 7 Days.
Long and be joyful. Except for Jesus. That's what they accuse Jesus of being, is a drunkard, because he was always celebrating. And John's disciples were always complaining about, how come you guys are
yeah, they're good. Car people, and the car people goes all the way from street rod, that would probably make him unhappy.
Well, and there's people that get buried with their fathers.
Yeah, yes, and that's certain 1936 Dodge.
Wow.
He's always trading cards, all the time trading. Which she finally told him, you could prove that I am going to kick you out and go get the car.
Showing out cars like that is definitely expensive though, because don't you have to register all that? You have to register all that, don't you? I mean, that must cost a nice portion.
You spent a lot on it. At one point, he had 3 motorcycles and 3 cars.
I think anti-license plates are expensive.
Yeah. What's the license plates on the 1936 cars?
No.
And he doesn't buy on cars. He doesn't care about them.
And the insurance is not bad as long as keep your mileage down, which most people do anyhow.
It's Harley. He only drives at 2,000 miles an hour over past the lap. He accused me one year of riding my bicycle more than he rode his horse.
What's your problem with it?
Pretty close.
Yeah, I need to get another front tire for my bike with fucking center rating.
What was that? I'll tell you what, the Quad Cities, everybody's doing all their places. Other than, I mean, that's east only real, restaurant institution. That's like legendary, I believe. They lost the ice cream palace in Silvis. That was another institution in the Quad City. What? Yeah. Moline lost the waffle place. No. Jackson made those big sandwiches. Remember that? Oh yeah. Belgian lost the Belgian in Moline. Bettendorf lost his restaurant. They got the new Rosses. I ate the new Rosses. Yeah, that's a little debatable whether or not that was real.
I found out my passed away. When we went down there to check it out, that was my place.
Yeah, well, I can't say that any main right has ever been really instituted.
Talking about the institution is like back home where I come from. They had ice cream. That must be popular in Pittsburgh. It's like Whitey's here.
Well, Whitey's old country style are definitely institutions on the Quad City. Most restaurants, most ice cream places. And the rest of Do you know that guy?
You're the people who were the people, the dogs, finding people that are buried in snow or, different things where they're lost. People are lost. Alzheimer's patients, people like that. They call them and they come with their dogs and they find them. I used to bring an avalanche. They go all over the country. They go everywhere. So that's they get the most beautiful dogs. I think they would
Don't worry, wherever you go, you're not
right. You're not lost wherever you go.
Wherever you go. No.
And if you need directions, I'm sure God will.
I think, I'm pretty sure I'll have some kind of an escort. Going in the right direction.
And no being lady there.
The one thing I used to worry about was something I forget if I have a blue sign. Because,
well, it's laying down flat. Laying flat face. Yeah. And you won't even laying down. Laying down flat face, flat. As a face,
well, I guess you don't have to worry about being lost. Wherever you are, that's it.
Of course, maybe once you got that glorified body, you'll do that. What? No. We're going to go and start. This is about it. Is Australian Islamic Peace Conference. In Australia, they're having an Islamic Peace Conference, and so they have publicity on speakers. One of the noticeable things is in the Peace Conference, the 3 women that are speaking. They don't show their faces. And they're saying because the female speakers may get attacked. The truth of it is they may get attacked by other Islamic people. According to Australia's Herald Sun, the speakers are Islamic teachers. Well, one's a psychologist, and the other one's a social worker. So, I mean, their faces are out in public anyhow. Organizers were met with outrage from both potential attendees and social media users after the image was posted online. It's backwards and inappropriate, a person with knowledge of the conference planning told Daily Mail. These are knowledgeable and professional women. This reduces them to Facebook being. The organizer, was dealing, apologized for the incident, but placed the blame on right-wing extremism.
Well, that's weird.
It's the English that's going to assault these women. Exclaiming the images were needed to protect the females from Islamophobia.
Well, hey, Patty.
Lovely. They're protecting them from being attacked by right-wing extremists.
Oh, we can't have that.
It couldn't possibly be anything like the women have no rights in Islam. It couldn't possibly be that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, all those Islamic, anti-Islamic Amish people. Duke University training students for anti-Trumpism activism. Now, this is very solid fashion in one college. This is soon going to be like a degree. So you can get. Duke University is sponsoring a workshop for the purpose of training students to engage in activism against President Trump's administration. The LGBTQA activist Mandy Carter will lead the February 15th event, which is titled Ideals of Activism in a Time of Trump. The university-sponsored event will focus on understanding the importance of changing the hearts and minds and changing public policy in social justice movement. How our North Carolina Moral Monday movement can be a model of diverse coalitions that bring together social justice people to take stand against the Trump administration. One of the recommended sources on the event Facebook page is an online practical guide for resisting the Trump agenda. So, more colleges, teaching classes, yes. Yeah.
We should have had classes and stuff like that, but I was Mongol, you know.
Yeah.
They had their little front. I think the next time another Democratic president goes in, we should have an anti-whatever.
You know, the whole thing of it is this that stuff is terrible. It's just like a national security advisor, quitting because apparently he lied to the vice president. But the truth of it is there's just so many leaks right now, and it's by people within the government, and they don't like Trump. I mean, yeah, this thing was, I mean, here's the thing, is why do we need to know what happened with the conversation with the President of the United States and the President of Mexico? Why do we need to know about what was said with the Australian President and the President of the United States? And why do we know these things is because of leaks, okay? Now, in order to have a leak, you have to have phones tapped, okay? In order to tap phones, you have to have a judge that gives permission to tap somebody's phone. Which was in the case of our national security advisor, but the whole thing of it was like a president. When did we ever start having what president previously did they have these leaks of just phone conversations? And nothing in those phone conversations with the President of Mexico, the President of Australia was important.
President Nixon?
Yeah,
he did it to himself.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, he had recordings going on himself because for his library or whatever it was going to be, why he was doing it.
The point that I'm trying to make is that there's about 50% Republicans and 50% Democrats. If this continues on, well, what's going to happen when a Democrat president comes in? Is the Republicans going to say, well, this is the way the Democrats
No, they never do. They won't.
There's always the first time for everything,
They won't say nothing.
I know. How do you think that?
You think that? The news anyway, I guess they can check it. The news media that's the difference.
Are you on a tweet?
And the news media destroys anybody that wants to.
I have Twitter, it's okay, but you only can do so many words.
The only problem is the news media, the standard news media is continually dwindling. I mean, there's hardly any.
You know, my radio station on it, I get more or less
the ABC, CBS, the newspapers, very little viewers.
People are tired of it. They're tired of it. And they just continue to do it.
I mean, yes, the standard news media would not report it, but the standard news media is dwindling.
Yeah.
And that's what they're doing.
I think it all comes
if it's really important, well, why do we need to know?
No, I mean all these people that are being covered and losing their jobs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's gotten rid of some. I know, like 20 something things that were going on in the government.
I think it's a good thing because it shows there's only a few people, there's only a handful of people that could be doing this.
Well, remember,
eventually you're going to get the right one.
almost office here. How did I get this stuff done? Oh, you got all that dirt here. You know, this is what it's called.
He said he's going to keep all these things going. He's going to keep all these things going. I love that.
Was there any truth to the 30,000 people he has?
Oh, yes, we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that. OFA. Yeah.
What are they going to do about that?
We'll get to that. But, yeah, we're going to talk about that. Bill O'Reilly had a interview with Donald Trump, and the only thing that everybody remembers about it is that Donald Trump told Bill O'Reilly that America is not pure either. And the question of it is the question by Bill O'Reilly was, something to the effect of you support Putin, or do you respect him or whatever, and Trump said, well, you got to respect him, and Bill O'Reilly said, even though that he was, he's a murderer, and then Donald Trump said, well, we're not really white either, and like everybody was like, everybody, John McCain, everybody. Well, that's not a shock to me at all. But again, I thought he said, so now let's talk about the facts. Here's the facts. When President Trump said, you think our country's so innocent, to Bill O'Reilly on Fox News, he showed why he's the most effective politician in the country right now. By cutting straight through the garbage and speaking to the people at a level they deserve. Trump proved that he's a leader of our times. But here's what we got. If you take every single war that Putin has overseen, either as president or prime minister, and including his extrajudicial killings and assassinations of political rivals, you still get nowhere to the body count of the Bush and the Obama administration. Adding the least conservative estimate of the total death toll of the Second Crimean War, the Russia-Bulgarian War, the Georgian War, the undeclared warfare in Donbass and elsewhere in the Ukraine, the insurgency of the North Caucasus, Russia's involvement in the Syrian conflict, and a sprinkling of assassinations and disappearances, you get around 300,000 deaths. This is the least conservative estimate. This is the high number. This is the high number. You get the 300,000 deaths. The least conservative estimate of the America-Iraq invasion alone, just alone, is over 1 million deaths. Which is 5% of the population of the entire country. That's more than enough to make my point, but feel free to add the tens of thousands killed in Afghanistan, the tens of thousands killed in America's unforgivable topping of Gaddafi in Libya, the unknowable numbers of people killed in Obama's drone strikes, 10 times as much as Bush, and hundreds of thousands killed in the Syrian conflict, largely due to America fanning the flames of insurgency and actively arming terrorist ISIS groups with the goal of toppling the Syrian government. And any of the other 7 countries Obama has dropped bombs on tens of thousands of bombs every year. There's the fact. Okay. So how do we get by with saying Putin's so evil, he's a murderer? I mean, yeah. I mean,
sad to say, it's sad for patients of the home that we do what we do. We expect us to move forward.
Yeah.
Interesting, no one of the people of that. I mean, war is one thing. Assassinations are
Well, we know that we assassinated the president of South Korea. Yeah, our first name. I mean, not South Korea. South Vietnam. We assassinated him to put in our own guy in South Vietnam. We took out Libya, Gaddafi. As well as the whole country. We tend to not just assassinate people, we tend not to take out the whole country.
Yeah, this is what it was just in the way. We didn't mean
and this is how Obama is scheming to sabotage Trump presidency. When former President Barack Obama said he was heartened by anti-Trump protests, he was sending a message of approval of his troops. Yes, Obama has an army of agitators numbering more than 30,000 who will fight his Republican successor at every turn of his historical presidency. The Obama will commend them from a bunker less than 2 miles away from the White House. And that's shaping up to be a highly unusual post-presidency. Obama just isn't staying behind in Washington. He's working behind the scenes to set up what will effectively be a shadow government to not only protect his threatened legacy, but to sabotage the incoming administration and his popular America First agenda. He's doing it through a network of leftist nonprofits led by Organization for Action, OFA. Normally you'd expect an organization set up to support a politician or his agenda to close up shop after the candidate leaves office, but not Obama's OFA. Rather, it's gearing up for battle with a growing war chest and more than 250 offices across the country. Right now.
Yeah. That's it.
Well, yeah.
Why don't they go after him?
Yeah.
You can't go after him?
He has a bad excuse about having his daughter finish school and everything. And I know, I was listening to Today's Issues with Jim Wildman at AFR. He said, highly unusual when a president stays in Washington after a president.
Oh, very unusual.
Because usually they take off and go way.
A year or so. Bush hasn't said
Bush said that.
nothing.
He had plenty to say about the Clinton administration. He had plenty to say about the Clinton administration. Determined to establish Obama's legacy is drawing battle lines on immigration, Obamacare, race relations, and climate change. Obama is immediately involved in the OFA operatives and even tweets from the group's account. In fact, he gave marching orders to OFA foot soldiers calling some upset victory. It is fine for everyone to feel stressed, sad, and discouraged, he said in a conference call from the White House. But get over it, he demanded they move forward to protect what they've accomplished. Now is the time for some organizing, he said, so don't mope. Far from sulking, OFA activists helped organize anti-Trump marches across U.S. cities. Some of them turned into riots. After Trump issued a temporary ban on immigration from 7 terror-prone Muslim nations, the demonstrators jammed airports chanting, "No ban, no wall, sanctuary for all." A run by old Obama aides and campaign workers, federal tax records show nonpartisan OFA marshals 32,525 volunteers nationwide, 250 officers. Registered as a 501c4, it does not have to disclose its donors, but they've been generous. OFA has raised more than $40 million in contributions and grants since evolving from the Obama campaign organization, Obama for America in 2013. So Obama for America in 2013 just basically changed into the OFA.
Common people want to
These are paychecks to the rioters that come from Obama.
fighting riots and doing all these things.
they're against the law. They're federal crime.
Why are they not?
Why are people not getting rounded up for the wrong?
Right. That's what I don't know.
If they're doing federal crimes like this, and they're causing physical harm and damage to the country, why are not they have massive class action lawsuits? Because there's some payoffs going on. We'll see.
I think
the authorities are getting paid off.
Strategy is so far, but you got to remember, you know, previous administrations brought in lifelong politicians, people that are familiar with how Washington works. Trump brings in people, he himself, and all the people he brings in, most of them have no experience. So I mean, you know, it takes them a while just to kind of understand what's going on.
Trump's really not a politician.
Yeah, to understand. I mean, you know, he don't even have his cabinet yet. No.
But the whole deal is, he's not unfamiliar with controversy and how to handle problems. He's a multinational billion-dollar industry.
Well, so he gets criticized when he immediately reacts and speaks out.
Yeah. There's no protein playing against the high school football team.
I mean,
he's probably the best guy.
I didn't do things and I explain my actions.
He doesn't have to.
no, I mean, I was just looking at immigration policy, you know, Obama arrested twice as many people and deported twice as many people as Bush. Twice as many. Of course, they came back over the border and they probably counted it several times, you know, but nobody said anything about that. And the very same thing that Trump said about stopping terrorists coming out of the country, Obama said on numerous occasions. Same thing. The list of 7 countries came from the Obama administration.
Even that, in fact, because what they're doing is they're saying, he's worrying about what the last administration is doing instead of doing things themselves. And you can do it, you can say, I don't care what you do. What we're doing now. And he says, take a Trump hand and say, that thing is over. We're done.
And like, they showed a list of the people that they deported. 75% of them were criminals, or they're arrested or deported. 75% of them were this one.
They went in there and they took them out.
Yeah. One thing they're doing now is that he's living the way it is.
No, they said on that. No, it was somehow. I don't know how he did it.
I was Trump. I think sending letters thanking those that you were taking them all over the
Yeah.
Yeah, because
if I was the president, I would say we need some help on the border. We'll bring our army down here. Our army is going to start to take down.
It's like there's real people being
We'll have a massive army at the border.
Instead of mostly volunteers.
And then also this OFA is trying to get Obama's handpicked for the Democratic National Committee. Critics the fight is the building the ravaged Democratic Party. Obama hopes to install his former civil rights chief Tom Perez at the helm of the Democratic National Committee. We'll see if Tom Perez gets elected as the next Democratic chairperson. Perez is running for the vacant DNC chairmanship. Following, it's time to organize and fight. We will stand up to protect President Obama's accomplishments, while also promising we're going to build the strongest grassroots organization force this country has ever seen. The 55-year-old Obama is not content to go quietly in the night like other ex-presidents. You're going to see me early next year, he said, after the election, and we're going to be in a position that we can start cooking up all kinds of great stuff. As the ex-president's point is, I'm still fired up and ready to go. See if he gets elected as a Democratic Party, because that will show you the influence that Obama still has in the Democratic Party.
What's his name?
Tom Perez. That's what's going to happen here pretty soon.
I think that if you find hard enough, people start pushing back.
Okay, see, well, there's going to be rioting in the streets, there's going to be blood in the streets. I mean, that's what's going to happen. Because, you know, the whole thing of it is part of the Obama legacy is also to continue abortion and expand abortion. Yeah. You know, this whole fight with the next Supreme Court judge. I'm going to tell you something. If I was Obama, if I was Trump, I'd bring only the most radical anti-abortion judges to the Supreme Court. They can't stop them. They cannot stop them.
They might be able to now some like the themselves will Trump over this question.
Yeah.
So they might not be able to get people through the way. I got a couple of them.
And that's the thing that I would do. I would start, if I was Trump, I'd just say, okay, if we're going to have a debate about everything, and you're going to try to hinder me in every given way, this is war. I wouldn't say this, but this is war. I'm bringing in the most anti-abortion people that I can bring into my administration.
He's done quite a bit. He tried to.
A study on aspirin a day keeps cancer away. A common over-the-counter drug, aspirin, has been recommended as a preventive for heart attacks and strokes for years, but now a new study shows that my aspirin stops cancerous tumors from growing. The study conducted by the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs states that numerous reports have confirmed that aspirin can help reduce one's risk for cancer, especially colorectal cancer. That BBE. While they state that it is not yet a mainstream treatment for the disease, they hope that there is a better understanding of how it works and it may be incorporated. A VA study adds a new theory into how aspirin might stop the production of cancerous cells. Aspirin prevents platelets from forming, which is beneficial to help stop blood clots for those who risk for a stroke. Platelets are necessary to help your body heal from after being cut, but too many of them forming within the body can make a dangerous effect. And evidently, by stopping them from forming, it also blocks the interaction between platelets and cancer cells by shutting down the enzyme known as COX-1. For the study, researchers used both over-the-counter aspirin and a new drug in development known as aspirin PC/PL2200. The new drug is combined with a really large word.
Oh my.
A type of lipid or fat molecule that was originally designed to help minimize the effects of aspirin on the intestinal tract. The research was published in the Journal of Cancer Prevention Research.
Yes, it was.
He did, no, I don't.
Well, you know, even a church should be
Yeah, I got to take that for Jim.
Did you ask about your process? Maybe you can go.
Bounces, anything under a bounces.
Anything under a bounces.
We're going 90. Our A1C is 5.5. Guess I'm only doing okay. So far. Well, you never know.
Yeah.
It's kind of okay. That's good. I don't know.
I did a very interesting
Okay. A couple of laws that may be coming. The first one is outlawing microchipping humans. Univeristy State Senator Becky. State Senator Becky Harris said a bill to prohibit forced microchipping of people is not as far-fetched as it might seem because it happens in some places around the world. Mandatory microchipping. Senate Bill 109 would make it a Class C felony to require someone to be implanted with a radio frequency identifier as a microchip placed in pet. The idea for the bill came from a constituent in Las Vegas Republican said. As it began to look into the issue, I was surprised with the mayor, I believe, issued warrants. Harris told the Senate Judicial Committee on Monday. She said sales of radio frequency identifiers are escalating around the world, and a company in Australia, as of June 2016, sold more than 10,000 implantable chips with a do-yourself kit. How much does it cost? $100. The Wall Street Journal has reported that an estimated 30,000 to 50,000 chips have been implanted and sold globally. Harrison said the technology is used by companies involved with needs to identify employees. And it goes on with that.
It makes you more lazy, though. Yeah. Because
it's easier.
I can see that maybe there's a liquor on the ship. They can do the same thing. I've got to warm. Yeah. So,
yeah. They might have a lot of
Yep. Congress is called the Conscious Protection Act of 2017, which I think is going to pass. The Conscious Protection Act of 2017 says that anybody who objects to abortion will not be made to be a part of an abortion. So any doctor, any nurse, any medical worker, no, we're talking about abortion.
That's perfect.
Anybody in the medical field that's against abortion or don't believe based on religious grounds will not be forced to be a part of it. Anybody. Well, I don't know about that, but these are actual abortions, not the abortion pill. But I don't know. Maybe it's that. I don't know. I haven't read the bill yet. But anyhow, that's going to pass this year. It's called the Conscious Protection Act. I haven't had a chance to look at it. Well, our church up in Monroe, Wisconsin, Pastor Chuck and his wife Gigi. His wife Gigi was a registered nurse. Well, she was asked to be a part of an abortion, and she refused, and she got fired. So she was fired because she wouldn't be a part of an abortion, and she was fired from the hospital.
Yeah, I was thinking she could take it to court.
They actually lived in their car, I think it was a van. They lived in their van because she got fired and he wasn't making a lot of money, and so they were homeless. They actually spent 3 months in a van, living in a van, passing the church. 3 months. Because she wouldn't do an abortion. So, what do you do if you're a nurse or an anesthesiologist or, so I think it's a law. I don't think you should have to do anything medically that you don't approve of.
Right.
They have their oath that they take to protect life. That's what they try to do.
Yeah.
Of course, there's some people that are doing their own thing, but...
Pope Francis has developed interfaith program at Hebrew University. Pope Francis met with officials from the Hebrew University of Jerusalem to develop a plan and plan an interfaith educational program seeking to promote civic opportunities and dialogues among youth from the Middle East and around the world. According to organizers, the initiative will be an international conference hosted by the Vatican School program and Hebrew University's Cuban Research Institute next summer to bring youth educators and academics to Jerusalem under the banner of the culture of encounter through education. International scholars and organizations dealing with social issues as well as research from around the world are expected to join the participants at Hebrew University to discuss the promotion of peace and a better future and the role of academia in social action. Religion can bring us together and create us a group. Religion can bring us together and teach us to create the bonds of friendship. With the initiative of scholars and the intelligence and history of Hebrew University, I am sure that it will produce great changes in the world, Pope Francis said. Hebrew University president said that the Hebrew University and its Truman Institute are excited to work with Pope Francis and scholars to foster encounters between young people, academia, and real world towards progress and peace. The project is aimed at building a better future for the world. Peace in the Middle East and a better future for the whole world. It just keeps continuing on. We need to all merge together into one world religion so that we can have peace in the world. Yeah. War. Title of the article: No Bibles in Iowa. The terrorist case of Cedar Rapids. Every year, the American Bible Society and the Barna Group ranks 100 of the nation's most Bible-minded cities. That is, how many people read the Bible at least once a week. All you have to do is read once a week. And who strongly believe the Bible is accurate. So bear in mind, this is people that read the Bible once a week and believe it's accurate. In every city, it is all fairly predictable. It's all fairly predictable except for one city in the whole Barna study of the United States. Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Cedar Rapids is the second largest city in Iowa, has ranked in the bottom 5 in the past 4 years, and its percentage of Bible readers and believers keeps going down. From 17% in 2000, this is 17% in 2014, 15% in 2015, and 13% in 2016. And this is if you read the Bible once a week. Once a week. You've got to be kidding me for Pastor John Reitzy's reaction when his Cedar Rapids church included the tax when it called him 2 years ago. I was surprised. Jake, he took the call at Northbrook Baptist Church and has spent the last several years trying to figure out why Cedar Rapids area is so apathetic about scriptures and what he could do to change it. He's now alone. While growth could be excruciatingly slow, some churches in the TGC's Eastern Iowa Regional Chapter are finding ways to reach a surprising post-Christian culture in American heartland. So Cedar Rapids is first of all judged by the city. It's also judged by the county, Lynn County. And it's also judged by the region also. And Cedar Rapids region includes Iowa City, Waterloo, what's next to Waterloo? Cedar Falls. Also, it includes Dubuque. It goes all the way to Dubuque. Yeah, I know. It's a short way, but Cedar Rapids is known as a good place to live and grow up, as evidenced by 2 national accolades achieved in 2016 as the best place to raise children and one of the most affordable cities. In terms of religion, in terms of religion, Cedar Rapids looks more like the post-Christian coastal city than an outdated stereotype of Middle America. It has a high percentage of religious nods. Nearly 47% of the adults in Lynn County are non-believers. So right at 47% of Lynn County, where Cedar Rapids is located, identified in 2010. That's comparable to Manhattan, New York County, Manhattan, at 56%, and they're exactly the same as Los Angeles County and In Los Angeles County, 47% are non-affiliated of any religion. And Chicago, Cook County at 40%. I mean, Cook County, this is doing better than Lynn County, yeah. They have more believers in Cook County, percentage-wise, than they do in Lynn County.
Two more kids. A little boy looked like he was like 4 or 5 years old. The girl looked like she was probably maybe 8 or 9.
They are. Only Manhattan County, only Manhattan, New York County, has more non-affiliates. They are tied with Los Angeles County. Minneapolis, Hennepin County, where Minneapolis is at, is 46%. So they're only 1% better. However, Des Moines, which is Polk County, is 55%. So they are worse than they're worse. St. Louis is 54%. Kansas City is 47%, so we're tied with Kansas City. And Indianapolis is 58% non-believers of anything.
Where?
Indianapolis County. All these cities, however, are more Bible-minded than Cedar Rapids. Indianapolis, the city, is number 33 on Barnes' list, followed by Kansas City, 34, St. Louis, 46, and Minneapolis, 67, and Des Moines, number 72. But Cedar Rapids is in the top 5, has been in the top 5. So, the city of Cedar Rapids is far more non-believers in the city than there is actually in the county. In sharp contrast with Cedar Rapids, Iowa in 2014 reported a 21% unaffiliated rate. They're tied with Kansas for the 19th most religious state in the Union, the state of Iowa. Iowa also fell to the middle of Gallup's 2015 survey on how many people both attend religious services and also consider religion important. The whole state is split. One possibility for the discrepancy is race. Midwestern cities tend to be white, so do religious non, 68%. Nearly 9 out of 10 people living in Lynn County, 89% are white, compared to 81% in Des Moines, 72% in Minneapolis, 57% in Indianapolis, 56% in Kansas City, 23% in St. Louis. No, it continues on, though. Conversely, I think they're right. Conversely, more African Americans live in more Bible-minded cities, which correlates with Peace finding of Afro-Americans are more likely to firmly believe in God, 83% compared to 61% of the whites. Say religion is very important, and 75% compared to 49% pray daily, 73% to 52% and attend religious services at least once a week. One unique thing about Cedar Rapids is it has large influences, including a Fortune 500 company for such a small city. He said, Cedar Rapids is the home of defense contractor Rockwell Collins, which employs 8,700 people, including many engineers. When you put that into a large city, other influences diluted. But a smaller city would make a bigger impact. There's also the University of Iowa, with 30,000 students in nearby Iowa City. In 2016, Princeton Review ranked the University of Iowa 6th on the list of top party schools.
Imagine that.
Yeah. Iowa City is also the home of a sizable LGBT population. Iowa was the fourth state to legitimize gay marriage, and the human rights campaign ranks Iowa City at perfect 100% in friendliness to LGBTQ people.
Oh, yeah. 7 years ago, one magazine that covered the homosexual community ranked Iowa City the third gayest in the country, based on factors such as the number of same-sex households and gay office holders. Yep. Gay, lesbian, and bisexual people are less likely to identify as Christian, 48%, than single people, 72%, and twice as likely to say they're unaffiliated, 41%, than heterosexuals at 22%. These factors almost certainly raise the percentage of religious unaffiliation in Iowa City's Johnson County to close to 65%. In other counties around Cedar Rapids roll in at 46%, Waterloo, and 32% in Dubuque. Another possibility for the lack of Bible engagement is the collapsing legacy of mainline Christianity. There are a lot of mainline churches here as opposed to the South, which is more Baptist. Mainline Protestants dropped from 18% to 15% of the American population. Cedar Rapids has changed too. From 2000 to 2010, the percentage of mainline Protestants here dropped 20% to less than 17%. Over the same period of time, the share of mainline Protestants have dropped in other Midwest cities, and it gives a percentage drop. So people leaving the mainline churches to say that they're unaffiliated religiously. And then people that are on social media feel like they're more connected to more the church. In Iowa City, the last 10 years, I've seen two big evangelical churches expand to 8 or 9. While the percentage of self-identified Catholics and mainline Protestants dropped between 2000 and 2007. The number of evangelical Protestants actually rose 42% from 20,622 to 29,184. So, mainline Protestant organizations and Catholics have dropped in Iowa City, but evangelical Protestants have rose 42% from 2000 to 2010, and probably even more so.
You notice that Cedar Rapids is a big technology county, and you'll see the correlation between that and the decline in
Exactly. Two things I have here left. Mysteries of the Ark of the Covenant. Journey revealed and excavation begins at the site of the Ark of the Covenant, where it was at. because the temple, everything that has to do with the temple, they're working on, and including trying to find the Ark of the Covenant, and anything that they can find, any kind of clue, anything that they can find to support that it existed, or where it might be at. This summer archaeologists will look over This summer, archaeologists will begin the first ever exploration of a major biblical site where the Ark of the Covenant was kept for 2 decades before King David invaded to Jerusalem. The site known as in the Hebrew Trump and often translated as Jerum is mentioned over a dozen times in the Bible as a Judean town near Jerusalem during a period of Bible history associated with Judges and King David. Today it remains one of the last such biblical landmarks unstudied. The book of Samuel tells of the moving of the Ark from Beth Shemesh to Kiriath-Jearim after it was returned to the Israelites by the Philistines, who were stricken with disease and punishment for having stolen the sacred ark in the battle. Well, the ark resided for 20 years as the people of Israel began to turn from idol worship back to God. 1 Samuel 7:1-2. At the end of the period, King David brought the ark to Jerusalem after the first temple was built by David's son Solomon. The ark was placed there and remained until the temple was destroyed by the Babylonians, after which all traces of it completely disappeared. The Ark of the Covenant, one of the most mysterious and sought after biblical treasures in history, is described in the book of Exodus as a gold-plated wooden box which holds within it the 2 tablets given by God to Moses in Mount Sinai, Exodus 25:10-11. After the destruction of the temple was vanished from all records, different legends have sprung up around it. Why the archaeologists running the Kiriath-Jearim dig will not be primarily looking for clues to its current location. The chances remain that uncovering some of the mysteries of the Ark could yield surprising results. Its large central site in the Jerusalem hills that hasn't been studied until now, it may be the only key site in Judah that hasn't undergone a systematic archaeological excavation. One of the 3 archaeologists heading the project told the Times of Israel, where the Ark once stood, but as biblical accounts often connect the city with a pagan deity of Baal, a shrine found there could be the site of idol worship. And to follow the story, the place where they took the Ark of the Covenant wasn't, of course, just some field under a tree. They referred it to an important cult place. He hopes the dig findings could reveal significant information about the history of the site and improve scholars' overall picture of the period of King David's rule. So what they're doing is when the Ark of the Covenant was taken by the Philistines, it was brought to a place where they worship Baal at. And of course, the Bible story, it went really bad for them, so they said, please take it back, And then of course David didn't take it back appropriately, and some people died as a result of it, but they did eventually get back. And one last story. Christians must help move embassy to Third Temple. It moves one prominent pastor believes will be the first step towards building a third temple. Jews and Christians are coming together on a project to give President Donald Trump amazing support for moving the U.S. embassy to Jerusalem. An initiative began last month when Rabbi Yitzhak Glick, a Knesset member and activist for multi-faith prayer on the Temple Mount, attended the inauguration of Donald Trump while in Washington. President Glick spent much of his time meeting Christian clergy and lay leaders, out of whose meetings grew a project joining Christians and Jews centered around the battle for Jerusalem. Rabbi Glick has been advocating equality of prayer for all religions on the Temple Mount for many years, but for the first time he is turning directly to Christians for support. Rabbi Glick plans to meet with over 25 clergymen to join in the Jerusalem Covenant. Last week he asked for help from Pastor Paul Begley, a fourth-generation preacher whose internet ministry reaches thousands of Christians around the world. Also an emergent pastor. That's what he is. Emergent church pastor. Moving the embassy to Jerusalem would send a message to the world that Jerusalem is the capital of Israel and the eternal city of God. What's better to announce that you're God in the eternal capital of God, the eternal city of God. Pastor Begley said, this is huge for Christians. We're following the footsteps of a Messiah who came from the Jewish people. Jerusalem is the city where he ministered, where he lived and died. It is a city where our people, where the Bible took place. Interesting, it says that Jerusalem is the city where he ministered, he lived, and he died. And he rose again. But he doesn't mention that.
No, of course not.
But anyhow, so we must get the embassy moved so that we can get the third temple, so that we can have a place of prayer for all religions. And so we can have a place where Sunday somebody will say, I am the God of these all religions. I have fulfilled the Quran. I am the fulfillment of the Bible. I am the fulfillment of the Old Testament Judaic law. And I'm here to present a big piece for you. Yeah, that's all I have to do. So that's what happens. And here's the other thing. How hard would it be to have an embassy in Jerusalem? I don't know. There's a consulate in Jerusalem, and there's an embassy there's a consulate in Jerusalem, and there's an embassy in Tel Aviv. So all you have to do is switch. Just say the embassy is now at the consulate in Jerusalem, and the embassy in Jerusalem is now the consulate. Just change things. That's how hard it is. You don't have to build anything. Now, granted, you might have to build arms to it. I'm sure the consulate is smaller than the embassy, but it's already built. You can just change names. It's the size. Yeah. And then we have an embassy in Jerusalem. And then we need a third temple. And then we need a place where everybody can pray. And here's another one for you. There's two temples, basically, on the site right now. If you build another one, 2 plus 1, 3, right? Wow. And how many major world religions would be at this site? 3. Well, it's going to not be totally destroyed, but it will suffer not only the nation of Jerusalem, but the Jewish people. world going to suffer terribly. Many will die. Yes, a ring of fire is coming down on them. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. That'll be, but in the last days, Israel does not do well. But the good news of it is they survive.
Yeah. They survive because they escape, though.
Well, yeah. But, there'll be some that survive that don't escape.
Not much.
Yeah. But that's more than everybody else has, basically. Now, there is some other countries that don't survive also. But, there's no guarantee of the United States. I mean, even though that says that a great part of Israel will perish, and the people of Israel will perish, at least it's better than something. There's no guarantee about it. Any other countries outside of the Middle East.
So far they've got 300 miles.
Apparently everybody keeps working on the missile system.
300 miles. Eventually they're going to make it all the way over.
Yeah, and then there's the backpack, So that's all I have today. Does anyone else have anything? No.
What about that dam that broke over in California?
Yeah, not quite broke, but in bad shape.
Really bad. California. 200,000 people.
200,000 people. Some of them are back now. Some of them are back.
Yeah.
But they may have to leave here because of more rain.
I don't worry that rain coming so all that water's going to come out. Hey, don't you notice how California's like advertising all over the place tourism? They're like desperate.
Our grandson is in California.
I see commercials on Zulu for that. They're like crazy.
Well, it's interesting is that they have an emergency where the water flows that they've never used aqueduct, something of that nature, that they've never used before. First time that they've ever been used. No, that's not in good shape either. It's a birth, basically a birth one. But the whole witness is which is work fine if you're living in a prosperous time. Not so well.
The way it's going right now, but some people thinking that when Antichrist, gets himself then hopefully people they might say, see, I always told you guys, 1,000 years just to be good. 1,000 years of
Well, Hitler tried that, 1,000-year reign. That's what he advertised, the 1,000-year reign, which lasted 7 years. And then the 12th Imam, which is grand prophecy, that the 12th Imam will come and reign for 7 years and bring peace to the world. When the Antichrist comes to power, they'll probably say, I'm the 12th Imam, and I'm here with a 7-year peace plan. Just like the Quran says.
This is kind of shocking to me right now. I just figured the church is going to come back to the I don't know. It's because they don't think like really what happened, one guy said, they believe that if the Great Tribulation, I can say the same thing. Everyone gets rid of his life. Now, there's a lot of difference between that and what's good. First of all, I don't think anything at all the first 29 years I think we're people, well, I think we're well on those way of the way forward. Because part and parcel of believing that you're building God's kingdom here on earth is just to spiritualize so much of the Bible. Well, it's the movement away from Israel being God's chosen people. Well, more than 30 years ago, when you guys took the gospel, not all things have to be restored. So it's not going to be restored. You just do the restored by either a lot of others. There you go. I firmly believe this whole embassy thing. You can't remember this embassy, the Embassy Act, the Jerusalem Embassy Act, whatever it's called, started in 1995 under the Clinton administration. And that was, it actually took funds out to move the embassy in Jerusalem. It's just that Clinton wouldn't have any time that Clinton, Bush, Obama, none of them have followed through on it. Exactly, the Palestinians.
See, I think we're heading to a two-state solution. And of course, with that two-state solution comes the idea of parting God's land.
That doesn't turn out so well.
That doesn't turn out so well. And so we're in the process of a two-state solution. And I think basically, I kind of thought between Russia, China, and the United States, three world powers kind of merged back. You know, we were the only power there for a while. You know, the 80s, 90s. Now we're back to basically where we were at previously. Three world powers, and somebody's going to be out. I thought it was going to be Russia and the United States, and the outland is going to be China. Now I'm starting to wonder if it's not Russia and China get together and the United States is out. Yeah. I was thinking maybe, I mean, it's too early to tell. It's too early to tell, but
we could be out. Russia,
I was thinking Russia because early on, like last year, the Russians and the United States were getting requests from activism and Jewish leaders to work together to bring a peace to the Middle East. And even the Russians came out and said, we never said that the Jewish people shouldn't have temples on the metal. They said that last year. So I thought maybe that'd be a common ground to work on. And it still we'll still see, you know, right now Russia seems to be kind of pushing the envelope.
The whole deal is Israel will never agree to the two-state solution.
Right. In fact,
the leader said it'll be either us or them. If there's another war, we won't stop.
Right. Well, that's what, we talked that out a few weeks ago. Yeah. There was an article that said that. But Netanyahu is here now, and I think that's what he said, is that there's not going to be a two-state solution. We'll see.
And now, Trump back away from the two-state solution a few days ago saying, I don't care if
Well, you know, and the whole thing of it is you can't give away any part of each other. Okay. So your stance is we only want one state solution. Okay. Which we're going to be behind Israel and the Palestinians in the South. Okay. So that gives you some room to negotiate. Where you could have a two-state solution, but then the Palestinians are going to have to give up Samaria, Galilee, and Judah, and West Bank. All they're going to get into the Sinai Peninsula.
Because if they divide it up like they want to, and put Israel in a dangerous situation because the church lines in such a way.
13 miles.
Yeah, it could be there from anywhere.
Or it could be immediately cut off. Cut in two. Wow. Not until the Antichrist gets there. It's just like Antithesis, you know. Antithesis said, you know, I want to have a peace treaty with you. All prophesied, of course, in Daniel. I'm going to have a peace treaty with you. And so his army entered in Jerusalem. And the Jewish people had this idea that there was going to be peace, that he was going to make peace with them. He is the inheritors of one of the 4 divisions of Alexander the Great's empire. He was the Syrian division, and when Alexander the Great died, he divided the empire in 4 sections. He got the Syrian section, and so they came in, and when his forces was in there, and guess what? We're now in charge. And that's exactly the way the Antichrist is going to do it. He's going to come in with UN troops, whatever, coalition troops of some sort. He's going to come in with the idea that we're bringing peace here, and once he gets his army in, and they're entrenched, then guess what? Well, you know, the Jewish people have always been looking for the return of Solomon. And that's one of the great misconceptions in Christianity, is when the Pharisees and the Sadducees and the religious leaders asked Jesus that he was the son of David, they literally meant that. Solomon. Because Solomon is the epitome of the golden age of Judaism. Okay? So when Solomon came in, there was a period of peace now in Israel, and around the surrounding area. There was peace and prosperity. Solomon is the epitome of Jewish rule. Okay? So when they asked Jesus if he was the son of David, they actually meant whether or not he was, Solomon reincarnated and coming back. Because they believed in the incarnation, that he was the second coming of Solomon. Okay? Now the thing about Solomon is in the midst of all that glorification of Solomon, we forget that when Solomon came to power, he imprisoned like about 200,000 Jews or something, some amazing number, and did some really bad things. They were opposition. Well, started out okay, but when Jesus comes back, why is he coming back to the Mount of Olives? There's the question. Why Mount of Olives? Because at the Mount of Olives is where Solomon set up his pagan temple worship. To worship Satan. Now, when the Antichrist sets up his rule, don't be surprised. Don't be surprised he reinstates the same place, the Mount of Olives. Now, why the Mount of Olives? Well, the Mount of Olives has got some interesting history to it. But it happens to be, if you look at Jerusalem, there's a nice view of Mount of Olives. Okay? Well, that's the reason why Solomon put the temple up there, because it was the high temple of pagan worship. So when Christ comes back to the Mount of Olives and the mountain split, don't be surprised when he's coming down and gives the Antichrist place of worship of Satan. Good thing. And this is all fitting together nicely. It's all fit together nicely. Because I say you can't make this stuff up. I've talked about this before. The leading family since the 1800s to build the temple is the Solomon family. Wow. can't make this stuff up. A leading Jewish family that in the 1800s to build another temple in Jerusalem is Solomon. Moving fly. Can't make this stuff up. That's their last thing. I don't know if they have any affiliation with Solomon. I'm just saying that their last name is Solomon. As I say, it's a long day soon, and as we see it, and once we see the embassy move, shouldn't be long, because the embassy, there's reasons why the past three administrations have not made it, because they know it's going to be how it is right Here's another thing. It's not only the U.S. embassy, but Canada, Australia, all promising to move their embassies. If the United States moves, they'll move, okay? Wow. Well, you get all these embassies in Jerusalem, how's it going to look when the Palestinians start rocketing Jerusalem and they hit one of these embassies? Oh. So they're using these embassies to me. It's kind of like the old Vietnam strategy. You know, you just fly. No, you just fly out to this area, you know, where there's Vietcong around. You set up a little base, okay, and then when they attack you, you whack them, okay. So the same thing maybe through these embassies coming into Jerusalem may just be, you launch any missiles and hit Jerusalem, and they happen to hit our embassy or around our embassy. We're gonna declare war, aren't you? So maybe in the means of changing world opinion against the Palestinians, or a joint effort to drive the Palestinians out. One thing I know about the well, that's true. Well, that's the reason why they're there. Jordan drove them out because they tried to overthrow the Jordanian government. I don't know the background of either one. I just know that they didn't. And they have more rights under Israel than any other Arab nation. Yeah. They're like nobody likes it. See, they made their first mistake is when they fled the land in 48 and gave it back to the Jewish people to start with. Because they thought Israel was going to get wiped out. Then when they were in these other countries, they tried to reestablish themselves, and they got booted out of those countries and sent back to Israel. Or Israel promptly gave them some rights, but of course they ate them anyhow. Because they actually took back some of that land.
That concludes this edition of The Last 7 Days. Opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of Spreaker or GJRB. Join us next time here on Spreaker for another podcast of The Last 7 Days on GJRB. This has been a GJRB podcast presentation. Watch. Pray. Do not know what hour the Son of God will return. Prophecy, New World Order, terrorism, economic collapse, wars, pandemics, Israel. When they say peace, then cometh sudden destruction. Volcanic eruptions, earthquakes, signs in the heavens. Keep up with world news and events you hear on GJRB's News on the Hour. Go to End Time Headlines at www.endtimeheadlines.org. With a lot of chaos happening, keep in touch with End Time Headlines and GJRB. Strange things in the sky and around the world. Strange beings sighted. What's going on? All around us, conspiracy theories are being discussed. This is the show all about the strange things that are way out there. I'm Gary Russ, and this Way Out There is back with more weird stories of the strange and the bizarre. Keep looking up in the sky and let me know what you see. Way out there. Every third Friday at 2 o'clock Central on GJRB. It's that time of year once again. Spring. A time when the weather gets warm and the flowers bloom, and GJRB is starting new programs and bringing back older ones that haven't been on for a while. It's the GJRB Spring Spectacular. All new programs and old ones returning, like Radioland, Gary J's Radio and Television Classics under a new name. Radio, television, and movie classics, featuring not just radio and television broadcast rarities, but also intermissions from drive-in movie theaters and indoor theaters too, old movie trailers, and movie trivia. The Spring Spectacular will also mean the return of the blues by Gary J's Blues House and country bluegrass with Bluegrass Jubilee. New additions to the Gary Russell program, including The Man on the Street, as I take my voice recorders to the streets of Clinton and ask people their opinions on what's going on in the news and lighter fun stuff. GJRB Spring Spectacular starts in April on GJRB. Another Radioland coming soon on GJRB Online.
This is GJR Broadcasting.